Welcome back to Digiburst, guys, and of course, welcome back to another prepping for video. This time we're looking at Jesmon. If you have been in the Digimon TCG community for a while, then you would know of how notorious Jesmon is back in BT6. It was borderline tier 1, competing with the likes of Bond of Friendship, Security Control, and sometimes Three Musketeer. And I say borderline because unfortunately, Hakmon and Jesmon didn't quite reach the competitive level that you saw in Japan, simply because a lot of people saw it as a very OTK orientated deck, very one-trick pony-ish, and can often brick because you needed the exact right stack in order to do the damage that you needed to do, and sometimes just fell apart if you don't have the one necessary piece and your opponent just had a random card in security to out, your big stack. But of course in BT10 it is back with a vengeance. The new starter deck has given it a lot of new pieces, so let's see just how far it can go. So starting off, Digimon giving you that draw that you might need. It's really generic, so there's not too much to say about. Your 10 Hakmons, or Hakmons just to give it a little bit more consistency. Of course, this one is the one that you want in your nursery, revealing top 5, grabbing your system one's really solid. And this one here being, of course, your searcher. This one is just playing second fiddle for the others because we do need more Hakmon names in order to find the consistency that we need, because all the pieces can search Hakmons. And of course, getting that +1 DP can also be kind of nice. We've also got 3 of the Systemon with blocker. This is the old one that you should know already. 1 of this new Systemon blank, which can give you a draw 2, trash 1 on play. And it also has the alternative effect, but while you have a Hakmon or a Royal Knight, this Digimon gains Decoy, which is a nice way to help make sure your Jesmon survives the next turn if you give your opponent the next turn. And honestly, it's quite OTKing. I don't think is in the wheelhouse for this deck particular. If you want to be OTKing, you should probably seek out different decks. This one is a little bit more control orientated, and then get a super wide board so your opponent can't beat you on the next turn, and you will just have all the resources that you need in order to win on that other turn. And this new Systemon can help you do that with the decoy effect. Moving on, we got the old Bow Hakmon, which can kill things that are 5k or less. You got Systemon as an inherent. New Bow Hakmon gives you a 1000 DP on all turns. We've got the old Systemon Seal, gain a memory on play, plus 2k to all your Hakmons and Royal Knights, playing 3 of those, and then 3 of this new Systemon Seal, which can let you Digivolve on play into a Royal Knight. And if you Digivolve a Hakmon or Royal Knight, you gain a memory. Really nice that these 2 effects interact with each other in order for you to just gain some value. On to level 5s, we've got the old Savior Hakmon. At this point, because you're only playing 1, it is starting to get overshadowed by the new Savior Hakmon, which I will go into depth. On Digivolve, you can play a Systemon, but more importantly, it gives you the unsuspending effect if you have a Systemon on the board. This can give you lots of ways to punch a lot of Digimon, or do a lot of damage in one turn, or amass a really wide board, getting multiple playing effects for Digimon. Really solid card, still good at 1, and very easily accessible with all the searching that you can do. 4 of this new Savior Hakmon, this allows you to punch Digimon that are unsuspended when Digivolving. This gives it to that Digimon, of course, so if you evo this one up, the level 6 will be able to punch the new Digimon. And it also has the inherent effect for when attacking. If this Digimon has Royal Knight in its traits, you can play a Systemon without playing its memory cost. Super solid stuff, especially if you can keep your Jesmon around so you can get the Systemon playings over multiple turns. But of course, the more important part is being able to punch unsuspended Digimon. This is the main way you'll be controlling the board, considering that you don't have a lot of spot removal in this deck, just punching unsuspended Digimon. You are also playing 2 Chimeras. This is really the only other spot removal that you might have in the deck. That minus 1000 DP, you're only really doing minus 2000 because you're not really playing any other colors other than red. So sometimes it's important to remove little rookies like the memory blockers, but also just being able to turn your Systemons into Chimeramons, and then because they're DNA, they're able to punch is really solid to see our games. On to level 6s, we've got the new Jesmon. We're not playing the old Jesmon anymore. This one has Blitz. It has when attacking you can play a Systemon, and remember that the when attacking effect is not once per turn, so if you're able to unsuspend it off this one here and you're able to punch again, then you can play another Systemon. Also, when you play another Digimon by effect, it gains security attack +1. Here's the new Jesmon X Antibody. This comes from BT10, not the new starter deck. Got Piercing, and then when Digivolving, you can play one Digimon with Systemon in your hand or trash without its memory cost. Then if Jesmon is in the Digimon's evolutions, or you have a Digimon with Systemon and its name in play, or your Digimon gain plus 2000 DP, and may attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon until the end of your turn. This doesn't solve Suddening Sickness, so you won't be able to attack with the Systemons that you play with through this guy's effect, but if you have other Systemons on board just lingering, it's super solid in that. Finally, for level 7s, we've got the Jesmon X. This guy is really beefy. When Digivolving, you may play one Digimon card with Royal Knights in its traits, and a play cost of 13 or less from your hand or trash under the bottom evolution cards, and then activate one of its when Digivolving effects, and then Blitz. Ooh, there's a lot you can do with this card. While this Digimon has a card with Royal Knights in its traits and its evolution cards, it gains a Piercing, Blocker, and Security Attack +1 for each card. Wowza! And even though this card seems really impressive, it is very niche in the fact that it is 5 costs, so we're not going to be going into this guy too often because we don't want to give away too much memory to our opponent. On to options, we just got the double memory booster. 4 of this new fake memory booster. It's got delay for reducing the evolution cost by 1, and it can also look at top 3 to search a Huckmon or Systemon or a Royal Knight. And then of course put it in the battle area. Security Fact can look at top 3 and then put it in the battle area, trashing the rest. Really nice considering it doesn't just go onto the board, it actually activates this security effect. And our last card is of course Team Atai to give +1 security attack and set your memory to 4. Let's hop into the games. And as usual, we start with a generally low power deck. This is Blue Hybrid. It's with all the hits with Tommy, so it is playing the more Koji style Blue Hybrid, so expect it to be not quite as on power as it was in BT7. I'll start off with the fake memory booster, which lets me search 3 to grab a Huckmon, then let the rest go to trash. I can then play a real booster to look at top 4 and grab that Savior Huck. These boosters are really good to set up my hand, so I have the correct lineup for getting the exact line that I want for, hitting out the game. Finding a Strabi, he should have pushed out at his nursery. Generally, rush style decks like Blue Hybrid want to be pushing out their nursery as much as they can, so that in order to see value from free draws in their nursery and free hits with Digimon coming out, all these low cost evos are really solid for them. Savior Huck is only 2 cost when I pitch the fake booster, and then it gains the effect to punch Digimon. Punching the Strabi, I can activate this look at top 5, don't find any Systemons, and then I can evo up into the Jesmon for 3 costs, putting him on 1, playing a Systemon and giving me a draw. Systemon of course is a blocker, so if he is to push out that Strabi, it would be met with the 3k blocker. Finding a Huckmon into my nursery, just setting up a tie, choking him on 2, trying to not hit into security, because if I don't have exactly a game, then his security could give him just a lot of free resources like Tamers or any removal card that might be hidden in there. So again, just going super wide with my Systemons, and of course they are blockers now as well because of the Blunks effects. I cannot block this Beowulf, but letting it go, it's got jamming anyway. You can go into the Magna, you can unsuspend by bouncing back a level 4, in its own stack as well, and then gain back our memory with the Koji effect. Hitting in with the Magna, I still can't block it, I think, because of the Koji effect, inherent effect, but it will be dying in the security. Korikaku will stun one of the Blanks, which will let him live this turn probably, but I have so much momentum that I might as well be swinging with this Jesmon here. Looking at top 5 with grabbing all the Systemons with the Hakmon effect. And then I can trigger the Savior Hawk 2 player Systemon from my hand. I get that probably the champion to get back that free memory for the seal. He finds a Hammerspark and a Strabi. I can evo up the Bale Hawk and then DNA into a Chimera to do minus 2k to the Korikaku, and of course it can punch this turn. So I can punch with the Chimera, trigger the draw one of the Guri. Hakmon will look at top 5 for any sisters, but I don't see any. And of course Baohawk can kill something that is 5k or less, since I have sisters and the Korikaku is reduced. He gets to play the Koji and then 2 hits because of the tie. And of course, the tie gets a security attack +1. It dies in battle with the Magna hitting into security. I just play another Systemon to make sure that I have enough of blockers in case he goes like hybrid into plus Hammerspark into Beowulf and then bounce a Systemon hit for game. But fortunately, he doesn't have that extremely ridiculous play, and I prepare for it, forcing him to waste a lot of memory to remove the Jesmon and go into the Savior Hawk. The concern is if the option in security can remove a Digimon or of course gain back memory. The Jesmon will punch. I'll activate the Savior Hawk to unsuspend it, and then of course I can play a Digimon of Systemon when attacking, hitting in and then hitting in with the correct Systemon. This was all just to play around the Hammerspark or removal spell, but it was neither one of them. A little bit convoluted, but it was a good puzzle in order to make sure I just had the right game. Anyway, game 2. This is a little bit more of a challenge. This is Imperial on the right. Setting up a good stack in my nursery. I can probably find an early Jesmon if he gives me enough memory. Ice Wall choking me on 1. I'll decide to push out because I do have all the right pieces. Savior Hawk can let me play a Jesmon when digivolving. I find the new Systemon Seal, which allows me to digivolve into a Royal Knight, going into the X antibody Jesmon. This one has Blitz, it can let me swing, and then when attacking can play a Systemon with the Savior Hawk inherent effect. Finding a Hammerspark, and of course it has +1 security attack in itself. So I was able to get like a super wide board, but giving away 10 memory is definitely not ideal. He'll find the Chimera to do minus 3k to both my Systemon and my entire board, and then he can Mega Death and bounce back my guy. Unfortunately, the boards that we build here can be extremely fragile, easily removed with removal spells, and now I'm back onto, step 1, trying to rebuild my Jesmon stack. Chimera is just doing board control, wiping out Systemons. He's obviously very lucky to find Davis Ken and 2 Hammersparks in his security, in his top 3 security, in fact. Fake Memory Booster will find me a Jesmon piece, but it might just be too late because he is amassing a very strong board, and he can easily do lots of damage here. Hitting all his XV1's got jamming, can go into the Pale. This will have jamming and can do 2 damage. And then he can do some really nasty shenanigans with the Davis Ken as well if he can find another 2-color Digimon. But choking me on 1 again with the Davis is probably the doom for me, because I cannot make a good mega line with just 1 memory. So I do scoop that up and unfortunately lose that game. So we're back to the deck and yikes. this Jesmon deck seems to be falling into all the same pit traps of old Jesmon, which is once you build a stack, that stack has to live the game. If it is removed in between, it being summoned and before you win the game, you might as well just scoop up all your cards because it's extremely difficult to rebuild a new stack before your opponent claps back and takes out the last of your security. And of course, you can't always rely on your Jesmon just playing a lot of Systemons and having your wide board deal with the last of the security because they are very vulnerable as well. With all that being said, I think Jesmon can do a lot of good if it's in the hands of the correct pilot. Unfortunately, I don't think that correct pilot is me. I'm going to have to leave this in the hands of my friend Izzy. So I'm going to give Jesmon about a tier 1.5 rating, perhaps maybe even tier 2 if it just gets snubbed for the fact that it's an older deck. But it is more accessible with the new starter decks. That'll wrap that one up, guys. If you liked it, give it a like, consider subscribing. I'm spending a lot of time with these prepping for decks, just exploring the new meta for BT10 and just checking out what these decks can do. If you're looking at all things BT10, I've got plenty of combo videos already up on the channel that pretty much explores all that BT10 has to offer, as well as some remnants of BT9 games still lingering on the channel because it is still the current meta right now. And with that, subscribe. I'll see you next time.